Okay, before I start this thing, I'm going to do what I can to try to keep it from getting too boring. Let's see if I can't set the mood here. Yeah, that's nice. Alright, hello everybody, this is Ricky Bryant. I am doing this for SEQALab.com. It's a quick little digital painting that I did with Photoshop CS4, and by quick I mean it was about 6 to 7 hours of work that I've been able to condense down to a 30-minute video. Not much to say at this point. I'll be checking in from time to time with some important stuff. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy, and power to the pod. Now, one thing you'll obviously notice that I'm doing here is I'm doing this directly into Photoshop as opposed to doing a line drawing outside of it and then scanning it in and then going from there. I'm personally trying to get a little bit better with this. There are a lot of digital painters out there who work directly in Photoshop nowadays just because it eliminates pretty much like the extra work that you have to do as far as making sure that you've got like a crystalline drawing done in there, and obviously it just speeds up the amount of workflow for it. But one thing that I had recently started doing, and I learned this from some of the Massive Black videos. If you don't know who Massive Black is, you need to find out like immediately. Is once you've got your line drawing down, is to establish a silhouette for yourself, and you'll notice I'll be doing that, and I'm doing that in a moment here. And that helps you get a good idea of what you want your pose to be, and it makes things a little bit easier for you down the road. One of the first things that I'm working on here is I'm doing a quick little render of the background. I'm establishing a light source, and most importantly I'm making sure that it's just not a stark white background, because somewhere down the line that'll eventually affect the choices that you would make as far as your coloring goes. So I'm setting it all up from the get-go just so I don't get distracted with that. It's a personal stigma that I have. It's not necessarily an issue that most artists would have to worry about, but it's a good little practice to get into, I think. The more time you spend doing all your prep work, the less time you'll spend bashing your head into the table because something's not working out right. Another thing that you'll probably notice that I'm doing here is that I am sticking strictly to a grayscale at this point in the painting. I do that specifically just because I find that it's easier to set your lights and your darks and your overall tonal range when your range is pretty much just from white to black. It's a simple matter of adding your color after that, but I know that for a lot of people they work easier. They have an easier time working this way, so they don't get bogged down with too many color choices. There'll be plenty of time for that later on. Don't worry. Okay, I've gotten to a point where I'm happy with the silhouette, and I'm starting to do more details on where the limbs are going, how the form is shaping up. I'm more than likely going to make some changes later on, but because I took the time to make that foundation beforehand, it's not going to be as much work as it should be, or rather as it would be otherwise. And much like what I did with the background, I'm starting to establish where the lights on and the darks on the figure are going to be, just to set up my tonal range to tool around with a little bit later on. Yeah, just fleshing out the details a little bit more. But you'll find, and I think this is really more in the case for some of the male artists as opposed to some of the female ones, that you might find yourself emphasizing on more. How should I put it? You'll find yourself working on certain features more than others, particularly when you're dealing with the female form. Trying to figure out which ones I like the most. Oh, yeah, that's terrible.